Hi everybody, welcome to this CRUD tutorial. Today we're going to work on the D operation, which means delete. Now trust me guys, if you've already completed the CR and U tutorials, you probably have enough information already to attempt this without watching this video. Okay, that would be a very interesting challenge. So if you want to have a go, see if you can get it working, and then maybe come back and watch this video later just to see if there are any tips and tricks, or if you get stuck and you need help, come back and watch the video. But it would be interesting if you could solve this without watching this tutorial. You should have enough knowledge and skills already from the previous tutorials. Okay, now let's go to my, my website. If I go to delete at the moment, what have we got? We've got a navigation bar, okay? So here is the template at the moment for delete.php. We're connecting to the database. We're running a query. We're just selecting everything from our table. We're linking to a style sheet. We're displaying a navigation bar. And then we've got some PHP here to loop through every row in this result, okay? That should be familiar to you if you've already had a go at the previous tutorials. Now, usually we've been displaying the results of our SQL in a table. But today we're going to do something different. Okay, let me try and explain what we're going to do today. I'm going to do a search for W3 CSS. I'm going to go into W3 Schools, this CSS tutorial. And I'm going to look for something magical. I'm going to look for a link to W3's CSS file. So let's link to it. Whoop, let me just copy that and paste that into the head section under the other link that I already have. We're now linking to W3 CSS, and look what that means. We now have access to all of these amazing things: W3 panels, borders, cards, buttons, quotes. Whoa! This is incredible. Today we're going to be looking at W3 cards. So let's come into cards. We're going to be designing something like this to display the data from our database table. But I found one earlier which I found really interesting. You can choose whatever you want, but I'm going to choose this one. I don't know why I like it, but I like it. So this is the card, and this is the code. It's all HTML, but it's creating like divided areas, and it's using classes which are in this linked W3 CSS file. So if you're not familiar with CSS classes, you might want to go and do a bit of research. But a class, for example, W3 dark gray class, we're applying it to this div. And this is the result, this big dark gray box. And inside that div, it starts here and it finishes here. There's another one. It starts there and it finishes down there. And this div, which is a container, and everything is centered in this div. Do you see? This is centered, this is centered, this is centered, these are centered. Everything in this container are centered, and this is the content of the container. H3, image, H5, and 2 buttons. H3, image, H5, and 2 buttons. Okay, this is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to copy all of this code. And as I'm looping through each row, I'm going to echo these cards. Now let's just tab this container code across, and this is the card, the end of the card. Just try and make it a bit more readable. So that's what we're going to be echoing for each row. So let's save that and refresh our delete page. It's not working. Now I think what the problem is, this HTML code is already using these double quotation marks. But my echo also wants to use those double quotation marks, and I think there's a bit of a clash. So what I'm gonna do is change my echo quotation marks to single quotation marks. Starts there It finishes down here. Now let's see if that works. Yay, it worked! Okay. Now, it's expecting an image, but I don't want to use the image code. So I'm going to delete that image tag. Save and refresh. Yay, there we go. Okay. So these are all the cards. I'm just going to apply to each div, which is a card. I'm going to apply another class called W3 margin. So we get a bit of a gap between each card. Oh, and I found another, I was doing some research earlier. I found another interesting one, W3 quarter. This is another class written inside this CSS file. So let's refresh that and see what happens. Yay! They take up kind of a quarter of the web page or something like that. So these are our cards. I don't want the accept button. So let's delete that accept button. Starts there and finishes there. And this red button, I don't want it to say decline. I want it to say delete. So let's save that and refresh. Brilliant. Now I don't want it to say friend request. I want it, let's replace that with, we're going to stop the echo. We're going to fix a field from, and then we're going to restart the echo. Okay, so let's just fix some data in there and refresh. Yay, there we go. I want to put a space, and then I'm going to stop the echo again, and I'm going to put in the last name. And don't forget to restart the echo so we can echo the rest of the HTML. Brilliant. Now we don't want John Doe. We're going to stop the echo. We're going to put in the location data. And then we don't forget to start the echo. Oh, let's just give it like a label. And let's do the same for age. Just going to copy and paste that. Save that and refresh. Oh, it's not working because, what have I done wrong? Location, oh, I forgot to put a dot to start that. Let's see if that works. Yay, brilliant. Now we need to work on the delete button. And the trick we're going to use is a similar trick that we used in the update tutorial. Okay, what we're going to do is turn this button into a link. Okay, so take the A tag and wrap it around the button. Okay, now to see that working, I'm just going to see if we can get that onto one line. So wrap the button in an A tag, and we're going to jump back into this page, the delete.php page. But when we jump back into the page, we're going to send some data stored in a variable, which is going to be, let's just stop echoing again for a minute and fix the ID into this. And then we're going to start echoing again. Okay, so we're going to reload the page, but we're also going to send it the ID of the record that we want to delete. So let's save that. Let's refresh this page, and let's just click one of these delete buttons. And do you see what happens in the URL? When we reload the page, we send it an ID. That's what we're going to grab when the page reloads. So to grab that, let's create a new PHP block. And the logic is, if a variable was set, which the page got, and that variable was called, what do we call it? I think we called it ID. Yeah, ID. That's the name of the variable. So that's what we're going to try and get. If we get a variable called ID when we reload the page, or when the page is loaded, we're going to grab that variable into a PHP variable so that we can process it. Okay. The way we're going to process it is we're going to delete from social data. Don't worry if you can't remember how to do a delete clause. You need to just go and do some research. But I think this is how to do it. Delete from our table where the ID field is the same as this variable here that we have just grabbed. Oh, what am I doing? Let's create a variable called SQL. And let's put our SQL into that variable. Do we need that? I'm not sure. We'll get there. And let's run that SQL. Do we need to store the result? I don't think we need to store the result. Let's do this trick. Oh, first of all, let's get the result. Do we need to store the result? I don't think we do. Let's not do that. Let's just run the connection. Let's do that little trick. If when we run that SQL, we get a true return, let's echo record deleted. Else, we're going to echo problem deleting record. Okay, so if the page is loaded with a variable, get the value in the variable, use it to delete that record from the table and display if we were successful or not. So let's save that. Let's go back and refresh. Whoop. Just going to refresh there. Now let's click Rebecca. Did that work? Let's go back to home and just see if we can find Rebecca. Rebecca has been deleted. But we didn't see that in the page initially, right? Let's try and delete Vin. When I click the delete button, I want him to disappear, but he didn't disappear. If I go home and then reload the page, he's disappeared. But I want him to disappear immediately. Now, if you think about it, if we get an ID, we're going to do the delete. Why don't we do this select after we do a delete? If we do a delete. If we do a delete, do the delete, and then select everything from social data. Let's do it in that order. So let's save that, refresh the page, and let's delete Kevin. Yep, Kevin's gone. Let's delete Mary. Yep, Mary's gone. Eric, yep. Now let's go to home. Kevin, can we see Kevin? Una's still there. Let's go to delete. Hey Una, sorry, we're deleting you. Let's go home. Una's gone. Now just before we finish this, I just want to do one tiny little thing. When we're doing this select, if we want to see everybody in our delete page in order of first name, let's do order of last name. Save that. Let's go back to delete. We're now looking at everybody in ascending order of last name. So there's something to think about. See if you can delete records from a database.